This video was worked on at varying points in time, so there will be many discrepancies concerning the time at which the script was written, along with very unfortunately out-of-date footage, as Helldivers 2 gets updated way too damn often and with too much content for me to reasonably cover in a video of normal length. Thank you very much and enjoy the video. In the wake of the exponential popularity of games like Fortnite and Destiny 2, it was to be expected that many large studios would attempt to create their own live service cash cow. The majority of these games tended to fail, with very few, if any, notable exceptions, but in February of 2024, a smaller studio under Sony had decided to release a sequel to their first game, Helldivers, to overwhelming critical acclaim. I doubt I'll have to cover what a massive success Helldivers 2 was upon launch, as it was spread into every corner of the internet for the first few months. Though, once the smoke settled came the game's first controversy, which, of course, involved Sony. On May 3rd, 2024, Sony announced that anyone playing the game on Steam would need to link a PlayStation Network account by the end of the month. The player base was clearly not happy about this, the main reason being that any game requiring a PSN account was, and still is, banned in over 110 countries. Due to this announcement, the game was heavily review bombed and refunded by a large majority of the player base, having the game go from overwhelmingly positive to overwhelmingly negative in only a few days. This gave the development studio, Arrowhead, a heavy bargaining chip that let them initially push back the release of this change and very quickly squash it altogether. Unfortunately, this did not allow the game to be relisted in the majority of those countries, which only made players more bitter and frustrated. For the next few months, Arrowhead would slowly nerf a lot of powerful weapons, making it more and more difficult to play the game on higher difficulties. This snowballed to the majority of players resenting the developers upon the release of the Escalation of Freedom update, which added a few new enemies, mission types, and an entirely new difficulty, along with a slew of weapon nerfs and enemy buffs. This caused a second review bombing of the game, and while it was not to the same scale as what the PSN drama caused, it still made a very noticeable difference in Steam's review percent. After this, the game would continue to get many nerfs, and the enemies would be continually buffed. Though, on September 17th, almost all weapon nerfs were reverted, bringing back over 60,000 players to the game on Steam alone. Then, after this, the previous record was broken the night of the Game Awards, when Helldivers 2 made a surprise announcement about the Illuminate returning, which had been teased and been looked forward to by many players since the game's launch, rocketing the player count up to over 150,000 players, only counting Steam's numbers. The main takeaway from this is to know that despite all the controversies, Helldivers 2 has an extremely loyal fan base, which I doubt will leave the game anytime soon due to all the new content planned. Helldivers 2 is a live-service third-person horde shooter where every single battle contributes to, or hinders, the overall galactic war. On your average mission, you'll drop into an alien planet, call down your support weapons, fight some enemies, and either extract with your dignity, or fail the mission because your teammates kept throwing cluster bombs without communicating. In your fight against the enemies of democracy, you have a wide variety of tools you can use, with there being, as of writing the script, 32 primaries, 12 secondaries, 10 grenades, 12 orbital stratagems, 7 equal stratagems, 14 sentry stratagems, and 27 support stratagems. With 262 planets, most of which we haven't even fought on yet, and 2 factions with a third being developed as we speak, Helldivers 2 has a lot of content. Personally, I've put over 400 hours into this game, and I doubt it'll stop anytime before 1,000. Helldivers 2's gameplay loop heavily rewards playing tactically. Because of the fact that Helldivers 1 was a top-down strategy game, Helldivers 2 is extremely influenced by that, requiring you to stop thinking like you're playing Call of Duty and think like you're playing Warhammer 40k's tabletop game. Going off on your own and acting like a one-man army can work, but it is not advised unless you're genuinely built different and don't take supplies that your team could use to a better effect. Once you're acquainted with your arsenal, you'll have to choose where and who you'll be fighting. Currently in Helldivers 2, there are 3 enemy factions, 2 of which were included in the game at launch and 1 that dropped quite recently. Firstly, there are the Terminids, mindless insects that use pure numbers and special units to overwhelm you. They specialize in close quarters combat and are a bitch to keep controlled unless you have some kind of horde clearing weapon. Second, there are the Automatons, soulless socialist robots with firepower that almost rivals your own, as they use lots of ranged units with armor harder to break through than a Helldivers stim addiction. You'll find them to be the hardest of the 3 factions, as of writing this video, because of their overwhelming militaristic might. Third, we have the most recent faction in the game, the Illuminate. Currently, they only exist as a vanguard force, with only 4 unique units to their name that you'll fight once your boots are on the ground. They're also unique in their fighting style, as they merge the horde tactics of the Terminids with the durable and ranged playstyle of the Automatons. Another thing they are unique in is not having an official front like the other 2 factions, as the Squids use hit-and-run tactics to try to wear down Super Earth's forces. Thanks for watching to the end. Not sure how well this video is going to do in the algorithm due to the shorter length, but I had fun making this, and I hope y'all will stick around for the next few projects. Make sure to join the Discord, linked in my About page, as I run polls there to see what you all want as videos and regularly interact with the community. And as a final anecdote, special thanks to Commissar Kai and his Discord for their help with this video. They're awesome people. Now remember, It's Deladius, not Deladius.